What's up, guys? Eric for a Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Monday, November 22nd. Sorry, it's been 2-3 weeks since I've done a report. Just a lot of stuff going on with the US Open and everything else that's happening. I'm out of town for a while and had some other things going on. This is the first chance I've got to do a report. Hopefully, going forward, we will have these on our normal weekly schedule that we've had for 7-8 years now. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 915.81 today. Puts us about a foot below, a little bit more than a foot below normal pool, but the Corps is continually dropping it. Come November or December 1st, we are scheduled to be at 915, so we're actually a little bit high. So they've got 8 days, basically 8-9 days, and we're going to be at 915, so we'll be a little high at that point. Water temperature today, I'm in the mid-lake, and we saw a lot of 57.5 when we started. Just pulled off the water about 1 o'clock, and it was 59.3, so right around that 60-degree range. That's kind of how it was over the weekend and last week as well. We're still right around that 60-degree range. A little warm for this time of year, but these colder nights like we had last night should drop that temperature pretty quickly. Fishing's been good. I've been staying on top of the fish pretty good when I've been able to get out. If you guys are following the US Open, we've got some exclusive video that we shot yesterday with the winners. We've got some more video coming out throughout the week of different people talking about how they caught their fish during the US Open. Efforting to get the final results up, and we're kind of waiting on Bass Pro to get those to us, but we are on the list to get those results. So as soon as we get them, we will certainly get them posted on the website as well. But you want all that information, plus you want to know what's going on Table Rock Lake. Best thing to do, join Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member, get all the reports, the maps, the tournament reports, so on and so forth. All that information is on there for you when you're a pro member. But if you're coming down, going to fish the lower end of the lake, the best bite on the lower end, and really kind of throughout the whole lake, has been a deeper bite. A lot of fish coming out of deep trees, out of deep brush piles, off of deep points. Not saying you can't catch them other ways. I know guys are catching them on a football jig and a Ned rig and stuff like that. But, you know, with these sunny bluebird sky days that we've had a lot of lately, it's hard to get that crankbait bite going, or wigglewort bite, or spinnerbait bite going that you traditionally have in the fall. So best bite for me has been, either a drop shot or a jewel scuba spoon, or on a swim bait fished vertically. Most of these fish, I'm catching a lot of fish out of trees. They seem to be in that 35 to 45 foot range, both on the main lake and out in the creek, or back in the creek arms. The key to it is finding shad. If you can find the shad, you will find the fish around the shad, and the fish that are around shad are a lot more active. So if you go back into a creek and you're not seeing a lot of shad, or if you're fishing a main lake point and you don't see a lot of shad, move on to the next one. You're going to have a better chance catching those fish when you've got some shad present. Like I said, you can catch them on a football jig. I know a few guys, even in the Open, caught them on a jig. I think second place they had them on a jig. Most of those fish are coming on isolated pieces of cover on the main lake and secondary points. You're looking for rock piles, brush piles, that sort of thing. I know the Jewel Pee-wee football jig's been catching them, and so is the regular Jewel jig, or the Jewel football jig. So you can catch them on a jig. If you get a windy, cloudy day, I think Wednesday's supposed to be kind of chance of some rain. That would be a really good day to get out there and throw a wigglewort or a rock crawler, because those are the days those fish will move up shallow on that chunk rock stuff, and you can catch them doing that. Come up into the mid-lake where I am today. Again, the deep bite is the most consistent bite, and that will probably continue through the winter. Catching them, again, on a drop shot rig, catching them on a scuba spoon, catching them on a swim bait, fish deep, vertically dropping it down into the trees, or even pitching it out using your live scope and seeing fish out in front of you and pitching it to them. That's been working very well. It's the most consistent bite. Again, you can catch some on a jig down here as well, Pee-wee football jig, heavy cover football jig, or even a spider jig on these main lake and secondary points. But again, you've got to find that little bit of isolated cover, whether it be a rock pile or brush pile, or even some standing timber on there. Most of those jig fish seem to be coming from about 10 to about 20 foot deep. Our deep fish around here, again, you're looking at that I'm going to say 30 to 50 foot range seems to be the key range for those deep fish, no matter what you're doing there. And go up into the James, and if there's an area that has a decent shallow bite right now, it would definitely be the James. The jig bite is stronger up there than it is anywhere else. Again, peewee football jig, heavy cover football jig, jewel spider jig on points, both main lake and secondary points, 10 to about 18 foot deep. And look for those isolated pieces of cover, because these fish are really relating to cover when they're coming up. The lake's incredibly clear. Even the James River's got a lot of color, or doesn't have much color to it. So these fish are looking for cover to hang around, to get that sun out of their eyes. Have talked to a few guys catching them on a net up there as well. So if you're a Ned rig kind of guy, or even a shaky head kind of guy, I think you can catch them up there on those secondary and main lake points. Dragging anywhere from, like I said, 10 to about 18 foot deep, maybe a little bit deeper if you got a calm sunny day like we had today. If I were fishing Wednesday and we had the weather coming in that they say that's going to come in, I would probably go up the James, because the fish are already shallow. Better chance you'll catch some of those fish on a rock crawler or a wiggle wart, or maybe even a spinnerbait up there. So keep that in mind too. Up in the White River, White River's got a good deep bites, just like the rest of the lake does. You know, drop shot, scuba spoon, swim bait fish, fished vertically around trees, on these long gravel runouts on the main lake, you know, brush piles, all that sort of stuff. Typical wintertime stuff. It's already kind of moved into that wintertime pattern, so can certainly do that. Again, up the White, you're looking in that 35 to 55 foot range is where the fish are. Don't really care what the overall depth is. Not really catching much over 55 foot deep, or you can find a few every once in a while once you get them stirred up and get them fired that'll bite up and around that 20 foot range. But for the most part, they're in that 35 foot range to 55 foot range. Jig bite with the peewee and the heavy cover football jig has been good up there. And again, you're looking for isolated pieces of cover on these points. It really seems to be best. 10 to about 25 foot when you get up the White, because it's pretty clear. You get up in the Kings, you can fish a little bit shallower and catch a few fish doing that. And then again, you get that weather. We get weather coming in. You get some cloud cover and some wind, and these fish will move to the bank, and you can catch them on a rock crawler or a wiggle wart. Did have somebody post a report on Intel this past week that they caught them pretty good on a buzzbait as well in the backs of some of the creeks. Haven't been up there and tried that. I'd love to. That's one of my favorite ways to fish. And it should be pretty soon. We'll see some big gizzard shad towards the backs of those creeks, and you should be able to catch a few on a buzzbait as well up in the backs of those creeks when the gizzard shad move in there. Guys, we're almost through November. Happy Thanksgiving. Fishing's actually pretty good. I mean, if you overall, yeah, there were a lot of zeros and a lot of ones and twos in the U.S. Open over the weekend, but there were a lot of 14, 15, 16-pound bags weighed in this weekend. So there's definitely some fish to be caught on Table Rock right now. The overwhelming or overriding bite was definitely a deep bite. I know some guys caught them on a rig, and some guys caught them on a crankbait, and some guys caught them on a jig, but the majority of the field that made the final day, most of those guys were fishing deep, and the kids that won it from Auburn, they were fishing deep. So keep that in mind. But again, the best way to know what's going on, know before you get to the lake, is become a pro member of Table Rock Fishing Intel. Get all that information. Get it before you come down here. Have a good idea where you're going to go and what you're going to do before you even get to the lake. But if you're coming down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Hit my website, focusfishing.com, and you can book online or just shoot me an email from there. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching the videos, guys. Again, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you get a chance. But thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.